Have you ever felt forgotten by God? Have you ever watched people betray you, misunderstand you, or shut doors in your face, while carrying a promise in your heart that nobody else could see? Then the story of Joseph is for you. Joseph was only 17 years old when his journey into pain began. He was the beloved son of Jacob, favored by his father and clothed in a special robe that symbolized blessing and honor. But that favor came with a price. Joseph had dreams, not ordinary dreams, but God-given dreams. Dreams that revealed a future greater than his present circumstances. In those dreams, his brothers bowed before him. Even the sun, moon, and stars seemed to honor the destiny God had prepared for him. But instead of celebrating him, his brothers hated him. The more Joseph spoke about what God had shown him, the more their jealousy grew. What should have inspired them became the very thing they used against him. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended their flocks. As Joseph approached, wearing the robe his father had given him, his brothers saw him from a distance, and their anger erupted. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. Those words were filled with mockery. They weren't just attacking Joseph. They were attacking the dream God had placed inside him. They grabbed him, stripped off his robe, and threw him into a pit. Imagine the fear. Imagine the confusion. Imagine crying out to your own brothers while they sat nearby eating a meal as if nothing had happened. Joseph's life changed in a moment. The pit was dark. The future was uncertain. The dream seemed dead. But here's something powerful to remember. A pit cannot cancel a promise. Soon, a caravan of traders passed by, and instead of killing Joseph, his brothers sold him into slavery for 20 pieces of silver. To them, Joseph was finished. To God, Joseph was being positioned. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. What looked like the end was only the beginning. Joseph arrived in Egypt as a slave, far from home, far from family, and far from everything familiar. Yet, the Bible repeatedly says something remarkable. The Lord was with Joseph. And that's a word for someone today. God's presence is not limited to your good seasons. He is with you in the pit, in the prison in the waiting, and in the wilderness. Joseph was eventually purchased by Potiphar, a high-ranking Egyptian official. Potiphar's wife repeatedly tried to seduce Joseph. Day after day she pressured him, but Joseph refused. Joseph's story teaches us a truth many believers struggle to accept. Obedience does not always lead to immediate reward. Joseph chose holiness over temptation. He honored God when no one was watching. Yet, instead of promotion, he found himself in prison. Have you ever done the right thing and still suffered? Have you ever remained faithful, yet life seemed to get harder? Joseph's life reminds us that God's favor is not measured by our circumstances. The prison was not proof that God had abandoned Joseph. It was proof that God was preparing him. Years passed, forgotten by people, overlooked, waiting. But heaven never lost sight of him. While Joseph sat in prison, God was arranging a throne. What looked like a delay was actually divine preparation. Then one day, everything changed. A forgotten prisoner was suddenly summoned before Pharaoh. In a single moment, God did what years of striving could never accomplish. Because when God decides it is time, no prison can hold you, no person can stop you, and no delay can cancel his purpose. Yet, the greatest miracle in Joseph's life was not his promotion. It was his heart. After betrayal, slavery, false accusation, and years of suffering, Joseph stood face to face with the brothers who had ruined his life. And instead of revenge, he chose forgiveness. Instead of bitterness, he chose grace. That is the mark of true spiritual maturity. Then Joseph spoke one of the most powerful words of faith ever recorded. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Joseph understood something many believers never learn. He can take what was meant to destroy you and use it to develop you. The pit had a purpose. The prison had a purpose. The pain had a purpose. Every tear, every disappointment, every delay was working together to position Joseph exactly where God wanted him to be. And maybe that's the word for someone today. The setback is not the end of your story. The delay is not God's denial. The season you're struggling through may be the very place where God is preparing you for what He has promised. If God gave you a dream, don't quit. If you're in a waiting season, don't lose faith. The God who was with Joseph in the pit was with him in the prison and was with him in the palace. And the same God is with you. Because when your story is finally complete, you will discover what Joseph discovered. What people meant for evil, God used for good. And what looked like your greatest setback became the pathway to your destiny. Don't judge God's faithfulness by your current season. The prison may be part of the process, but the promise is still alive. Maybe you're in a season of waiting, disappointment, or pain right now. Remember Joseph's story. God has not forgotten you. What seems like a delay may actually be God's preparation for something greater. Stay faithful, keep trusting and hold on to His promises. The same God who turned Joseph's prison into a palace is still working in your life today. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring Bible stories and faith-building content.